Yeah, I just want to make sure that you're ready. Good morning, members of the media. Good morning, members of the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party. Good morning to my parliamentary colleagues, and good morning to our Progressive Labor Party candidates. We are excited to announce our candidates for constituency number 30, Southampton East Central, and constituency number 31, Southampton West Central. And those candidates are Mr. Jason Wade for constituency number 30 and Senator Crystal Caesar for constituency number 31. I'm continuously impressed with the caliber of candidates that the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party will field for this election. And Jason and Crystal are certainly first rate. This election is about leadership, but it's not just our party leaders. It's about the entire team as well. We all know that when tough times are ahead, we have to continue to make sure that we have leaders that are ready to follow in our footsteps. While we ably handled the health crisis, we are not out of the woods yet, and we have to continue to remain vigilant and adjust our policies to keep our community safe. And while we all have to continue to do our part by wearing masks and keeping our physical distance, this will, for the foreseeable future, be the new normal. However, we also have the economic recovery that we have to continue to address. I'm pleased to see that our Work for Bermuda policy attracting 200 applicants, but this policy is just the tip of the iceberg as we seek to rebuild Bermuda's economy, not just for those who have always done well, but we will seek to provide more ownership opportunities in our economy for all of Bermuda. Since our election, we have made good progress on our priorities, but there is still more work to do. We've increased funding for our schools, updated technology in our schools. We've increased scholarships significantly, and hundreds of Bermudians have been able to attend the Bermuda College because of this government's policies to upgrade their skills and enable them to start a business. We've regulated the payday loan industry to cut down on predatory lending, and we strengthened the ministerial code of conduct, increased affordable housing for seniors and families, increased paid paternity leave, decriminalized cannabis, and expunged non-violent cannabis convictions from people's records. And I would like to emphasize this: we lowered payroll taxes for working families to the lowest level that they have ever been since payroll tax was introduced. With that said, I would like to introduce Senator Crystal Caesar, who has done a fantastic job in serving Bermudians in the Senate. Crystal came very close to victory in constituency number 31 in the last election, and I'm confident that given the work that she has done in the community, her exemplary service inside of the Senate, and the work in which she is doing with me as the Junior Minister of Tourism, I'm certain that she'll be victorious this time around. And so now I would like to ask our candidate for constituency number 31, Ms. Crystal Caesar, to speak. Oh, absolutely. Sure. That's enough.
And good morning. Good morning, Premier, Party Leader, Honorable David Clark, JPM, family, friends, party members, members of the media, and the voters and residents of constituency 31, Southampton West Central. I am honored to be selected again as the Progressive Labor Party's candidate to represent constituency 31. During these times, whilst Bermuda and the world is fighting a pandemic, I am proud to be a part of a team that truly cares about all citizens of this country. I am proud to be selected once again as your candidate to represent constituency 31. The PLP's unwavering leadership has and continues to carefully guide us through maintaining a balanced still challenging times ahead of us, and trying to stay on top of the incidences of coronavirus cases and to resuscitate the economy in a way that doesn't just benefit those who have always done well, but truly works for all Bermudians. Bermudians want to work, earn a comfortable living, have top-notch education that will prepare them for employment, affordable health care, access to jobs, to be successful contributing members of society, and live in a country where the leadership puts their well-being first. The PLP is the party, the heart of the people, and we are blessed with strong leadership. We have those who are well-versed in labor relations, we have educators, business and finance people, we have those who know the law and the judicial system, those who are connected to the arts, culture, and sports. We have entrepreneurs, those involved in the hospitality industry, medical professionals, political experts, and the list goes on. We can be trusted to ensure that all residents and voters' needs and concerns are addressed and their ideas are given full consideration. We have a capable team and an intelligent, strong leader, all of whom are rooted in unity, with a social conscience, and a heart for the people. Whilst I do not live in Southampton, I'm truly a girl from the West. Many of the constituents of 31 are not just people I know, but we share childhood experiences from growing up in the West End. Many are fellow schoolmates of mine from attending West End Primary, where Mrs. Mathers was the principal. Others attended Somerset Primary, fellow school in the area, where we had our girl guide meetings, and some of them were majorettes with me, or remember taking dance classes overlooking Banquet Bay at the Somerset School of Dancing. And of course, we all support the Best Cup Bench team, which we all know is Somerset.
Somerset.
I have had a very professional career in the financial services industry, and I have a certified public accounting designation. I have worked in regulation, banking, and law. Currently, I'm in the hospitality field as the finance manager for Bermuda's world-renowned golf course, the Mid-Ocean Club. Additionally, I am involved in Bermuda's small business sector as the business manager for the premier local design company Young Beyond Bermuda, and for a fast-growing local excavation and trenching business, Alternative Concrete Solutions. For the past 3 years, I have served Bermuda as a senator and youth minister. I have spoken in the Senate on a range of issues, including health, economic development, current affairs, immigration, tourism, transport, and national security. I served on the Joint Select Committee for Child Protection, the Sex Offenders Registry. Additionally, my fellow senators and I have carefully shepherded critical legislation and policies to the Senate, such as the regulations needed to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic, laws to ensure we protect our jurisdictional reputation, access to funding for Bermuda's entrepreneurial-minded, providing incentives and concessions in the tourism industry to assist in its growth, and providing funding to ensure those who wish for higher education with the opportunities to do so. My experience in the Senate has provided an excellent training ground for me to now take up the mantle to represent the voters of Constituency 31 in the House of Assembly. Since the last election, I have remained available to hear your concerns. I have seen some of you at Farmers Corner when I've had clinics, or during my continued canvassing in the area, or just out and about in the community. I have taken your ideas, suggestions, and requests on board and relayed them to my parliamentary colleagues for implementation and inclusion in policies and regulations to benefit us all. Now, I humbly ask for your support and for you to vote for me on October 1st, and for the strong leadership of David Burt and the PLP. Thank you.
Congratulations, Senator Caesar, and thank you very much. In the PLP, we are blessed to have an abundance of talent. As I said, I enjoyed the opportunity to work with Senator Caesar over the past 3 years. I have no doubt that she will be successful in constituency 31 this time around.
Amen.
Now, I will introduce our new candidate for constituency number 30, Southampton Central. He is an educator, a sportsman, a community leader, and an entrepreneur. I'm proud to introduce Mr. Jason Wade as the Progressive Labor Party's candidate for constituency number 30.
Good morning, Premier, the Honorable David Burke, JPMP, family, friends, and the constituents of constituency 30, Southampton East Central. Today I stand before you as the PLP's candidate for constituency 30, Southampton East Central, with great humility. I am a son of the soil, as I have lived in this constituency for most of my life. I have witnessed many positives in our community, as well as some concerns that still exist. I am asking the voters of Southampton East Central to trust that every voter's concerns will not only be heard, but addressed, and that they will be ensured that our community remains strong. As a child, I was once told by a member of our community, never forget where you came from, which is why I am dedicated to serving the community of constituency 30, which includes many have asked me why I've entered politics now. To me, the answer is simple. It is simply why not now. I have dedicated the better part of the last 5 years to giving back to my community in numerous roles. This takes me back to my political philosophy of never forgetting where you came from, having the heart for the people. But more importantly, always giving back to the community that has given me so much. I would be honored to serve the voters of Southampton East Central going forward. When it comes to my roles that I have done in the community, I served as president of Southampton Rangers Sports Club for 5 years. It was a challenge at first, but as the years went on, we continued to progress. When it came to us providing the youth, the seniors, and the members in our community, we did a good job, but there's still work to be done. From my time in the classroom as a former teacher to my time in the boardroom at Cedar Ridge Academy, many accomplishments were achieved. At Cedar Ridge Academy, we are now a technology-based school. What that means is we now have the technology to stream all classes from the classroom to our students at home, if the need should arise. We were the first school to have Google Classrooms. That's a great accomplishment. We have top-notch educators at Cedar Ridge Academy, and it's been a pleasure to work with them over the last 3 years. I have also served on the Board of Education since 2016 and remain committed to the youth development and have had the opportunity to assist in the development of Plan 2022, which includes the phasing out of middle schools and replacing them with signature schools focused on specific areas of study. I am also grateful to continue serving as the chairman of the Cedar Ridge Academy Board. This is the role that I have had the great pleasure of doing, and I hope to continue doing. As we have been thrown into unforeseen circumstances due to the current pandemic, with more challenging times to come, it is important that your voice is heard. I am certain that with continued capable and effective leadership, Premier Burke and the PLP government will get through this challenging time. And I am confident, as your representative of all constituents in constituency 30, that we will get through this together. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jason. And now, happy to take any questions from the questions. Well, I had a few. Does anyone else want to go ahead? All right,
Okay. I pulled together a few, sir. Righto, thanks for having us. I guess my first question, we had suggestions put to us about the calling of the election, that it was a distraction, that it was wiser to focus on the pandemic and sorting that out before calling an election now. I guess, what do you say to that suggestion?
I would say that it would benefit some to continue to argue about the decision that was made by myself on Friday, but we're looking forward. We're rolling out candidates today, and we are going to be looking forward to the choice that faces the voters. The choice that faces voters over a team that provides strong, capable leadership over the coming times, and that is what we believe that the choice in which we're putting forward the voters. So I'm not going to dwell on what happened last Friday. We are going to move forward. We're going to have a safe election. We are confident that the procedures be in place to have a safe election. And what is most important is that we move on from the divisive nature of a series of by-elections to a general election. So whatever government is elected, we can focus on the important matters going ahead. And I believe the Progressive Labor Party team, joined by Senator Caesar and Jason Wade, are fine representatives who look forward to what's key in this country.
Thanks, sir. Back in 2012, the party didn't make it, and a lot of people at the time ascribed that to the timing of the election. I guess, did that example of how the timing didn't work out for the PLP then, did that play a role now in how you timed calling it for now?
No. I think that the rationale was laid out, as I said last week. I take the opposition leader in word that there were going to be resignations, a series of by-elections, which would bring division to the country as we saw the division which happened with the rollout of the opposition's candidate at the beginning of the month. And what we need is unity. I have done my best during this time of the pandemic to be a unified leader, to be a bipartisan leader. And what I want to do is to get back to a place where we can address issues collectively as a society. A series of by-elections will cause division, and we'll take away from that. We're going to have a general election on October 1st. We're going to put forward our plans to the people, and we hope that the people will select us to continue the work which we've been doing in the past over 3 years.
Oh, yes.
So your party has a huge margin at the moment. How do you guard against overconfidence or complacency in holding such a margin as you do?
How we guard against overconfidence and complacency is putting forward excellent candidates as we have today. From my perspective, we are going to continue to take the message. But to say that we have a large margin and complacency would negate the fact that every single constituency or community inside this country knows that over the past 3 years, the Progressive Labor Party has been there on the ground, whether it's through our monthly clinics, whether it's through our regular canvassing, throughout the pandemic, whether it's the Progressive Labor Party engaging in feeding programs, through constituents, checking up on seniors and making sure that we're there for them. So the best guardian against complacency is continued work. And that is what the Progressive Labor Party has put in over the past 3 years. You heard Senator Caesar speak about her being inside the community over the last 3 years. Lisa has been canvassing for a while and is familiar with the persons inside the community and the community work which she's done inside of the constituency. So that's the best guard against complacency. And continued work and continued representation. That's what you get from the Progressive Labor Party.
I just had a few more questions. And this might be for your candidates to answer yourself,
For them to answer. It's their day, not mine.
yeah, you've got a pandemic going on. How's that going to affect your ability to canvass and go into people's homes and have that human touch and as you go out in your respective constituencies?
Sure, the PLP is able to pivot, obviously, during these times. We will continue to reach people. We have phone banking where we'll give our constituents a call. Those that want to see us can see us. Obviously, we will maintain the physical distancing as we're supposed to, but we can pivot at this time. We can definitely do what is required in order to reach people. And we have things planned to. Things staying on.
Right up.
Okay.
So as far as canvassing during the pandemic, it is challenging. It has been a challenge for us so far, but what we have decided to do is while we are doing our canvassing, obviously it's not going to do a step back to a 6 feet distance and make sure we're wearing our masks. We do work around in our packages with hand sanitizer as well, so we are making sure my hand sanitizer has to be touched each door that we walk through. So those are some of the things that we do. We also have a registration drive this weekend in which we had people social distance while they were lining up to come and register, and when they got the opportunity to speak to the premier in constituency 30, we had people social distance, and they were not allowed to get in line until they had their mask and their hand sanitizer.
Just a couple more questions, sir. I guess for yourself, when I heard the announcement on Friday, I worried, that this pandemic is going to warp things, that there's going to be a poor turnout of voters. Is that a concern of yours? Do you think that you're going to be able to overcome that?
I have no doubt that the parliamentary registrar will be able to conduct a safe election that will allow people to express their democratic will. The fact is that inside of a period such as this, precautions must be taken. As I indicated last week on the questions that I asked, last week the Carabao has a public meeting where the Caribbean Public Health Agency put out information on how to make sure that the election, which there are many in the region, are conducted safely. Those protocols can be shared with Government House and the parliamentary registrar, and I have no doubt, the exact same way that we're able to do this safely, that we'll be able to cast our ballots.
Thanks. And my last question for you, being as you do appear to be riding quite high on the handling of the pandemic, is it your intention with this election to decisively take out the OVA, for the want of a better term? And do you think that's good for the country if you're able to do it?
Oh yeah, we good.
The answer to that is very simple. We leave it up to the voters to make the decisions. This is not about, in that instance, the back and forth. As I have said, I had enjoyed being a unifying and bipartisan leader during the time of this pandemic. And it was upset that that unity frazzled when the opposition had their rollouts of their candidates and decided to attack us after we had been working together so well during that period of time. I don't want that division to continue. So we will leave it up to the police and the voters in this country. But what I think is leader of this country is clear, that we need to move past the division, have a general election, so whatever government is elected can get on with the job.
Awesome, thanks.
Just a question for Senator Caesar. You were unsuccessful in the previous election. I guess I wanted to know what you intend to do differently this time around in order to get those community groups.
Well, I will say I would do differently. I think that you spoke last time and they were not, I was successful. However, I think being right now shows people that I have the leadership skills and having worked in this space, because I've proven myself over and over again in terms of shepherding legislation through, speaking on issues that are of concern. So I won't say I need to change anything. I think maybe I could just prove myself, and I think I've done that in the Senate. And so I think the constituents of the first one have more confidence now, and I hope that they will go for it.
Are you able to share some of the issues that they brought to you?
Yes, obviously, economy is a huge issue. We spoke about that at the last election, and of course it continues, in particular around what's happening in Bermuda. A lot of people have lost their jobs, and they'd like to see new opportunities. I spoke and encourage people to register with the Department of Workforce Development, and so that we can retrain and retrain them. They've also spoken about education, but as you know, we have plans by 2022, and we are putting that in. People who want to go to schools, we're facing those school stops. In addition, people are interested in reviving the tourism industry. There are quite a few young people who I have guided to different properties across the island, and we've been able to secure work. So these are some of the same issues, and but we have addressed them and we'll continue to address them.
And just for Mr. Lee, so obviously this is your first time running as a candidate. You have an extensive background working with Bermuda. Any idea of how you plan to perhaps curb some of the violence that's been happening? We saw an uptick earlier on in the start of the pandemic. What would be your ideas of how to tackle that issue?
Thank you for that question. For me personally, it's about reaching out to the youth and speaking to them and learn out. I know Pastor Bean has done an excellent job so far in doing that, and we saw in 2019 that there was a major decrease in gun violence and gun murders. What I feel is a great solution is for politicians like myself, which I'm looking to be excellent politician, one for the people, is to get out to the issues and speak to them on their level. Because if you don't speak to them, they don't know you, you don't know them, and they can't understand what your role is as a politician, and we can't understand that.
That's right.
So I'm grassroots. As the president of South African Rangers, I speak to them on a daily basis, and that's what I've been doing for the past month in the constituencies, going out to the action of the concerns. We had an individual come up to us on Saturday on his bike, and he said, "I'm not political. I haven't voted. He's 28 years old, hasn't voted. I know when I see this individual, he's going to know I was talking about him." But it was more getting to know his issue, why he hasn't voted, what's going on with him in the community, and see if we can address those issues. It's about finding them jobs, because if they have a job, they're not idle. When people have idle times, that's when they get the job. So it's more about speaking to them individually, finding out what they need to be successful, and giving them the tools to be successful.
All right.
Now, in the past, there have been numerous incidents happening at the Southampton Rangers Club. Are you hoping to turn around the image?
So I think that with the past 5 years, we have worked to turn around that image. There's a lot of good things that haven't been highlighted by the media that the club has done, such as our seniors night every Thursday night, where we feed, have a raffle, and support our seniors every single Thursday. Since the pandemic, that has stopped, but we're looking to get that back up and running as soon as we are able to. I know the executive at Southampton Rangers right now are working on different avenues to still curb the antisocial issues, but it's more than a Southampton Rangers issue. It's an island-wide issue, and that's what I mean by we have to go out, not just me, but every adult, every politician needs to go out and speak to the young men and women in the community and speak to them, find out what the issues is, touch them on a grassroots level, and I guarantee you will see a downturn in the antisocial activity.
And just last question for Premier Bird. There's been word circulating about the creation of a yet-to-be-named third party. What are your thoughts on that?
I say this as the leader of the community that I welcome all that seek to offer themselves up as candidates. I think it's fundamentally between two leadership teams and people unions want to see us through these difficult times, but I encourage every person to get involved in the process. I will still maintain that the Progressive Labour Party is the best team to carry it through. We've done well, we've kept our promises, we've made a lot of changes in the last 3 years, and we're going to continue to push through because our heart is in the right place. We've set out our agenda and we work daily to make sure we execute that, to make this place be better in the future.
There's been a lot of Bermudians overseas who've had questions about absentee voting. Has that been smoothed over?
I don't know what it means to over. I guess I could say.
In terms of the website being down?
I have not. I did see something about that on my social media. You would be aware that the Parliamentary Registrar Office is completely independent of the government for a good reason. But I would actually direct those questions in.
Senator Caesar, what would be your top priority if you were elected?
Excellent question. My top priority in the first instance is to implement and that's my any issues obviously that are issues of the country and the economy would be my duty to be sure that we put those forth and deal with them as we need to. In the coming weeks, we will be really on our platform, and obviously within that, I will take up the mantle where I'm called and wherever I'm needed, that's where I will run.
Over the last year, we've had a lot of sexual abuse issues. What would you like to see changed going forward? With not only with children but with adults. Chevelle Dylan Burgess is still missing.
Well, under the capable leadership of the AG Center, she has put legislation forward
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wade? As an educator, what do you feel is wrong with the middle school system, and why is it better for Bermuda to move to eliminate them?
I wouldn't say that the middle school system did not work. That's why we are phasing it out. My personal opinion is that it didn't work because it wasn't implemented. Teachers weren't given the proper training beforehand. So when you have teachers who aren't necessarily qualified to teach middle school classes and that bridge between primary, middle, and senior, middle school is like a gap year right now, a gap 3 years right now, in which it's just a stopgap between primary and senior. So, and teachers weren't trained. Those are the simple facts as to how to properly facilitate within the middle school system. So I know with Plan 22 right now, Plan 2022 right now, teachers will receive that training. And with the signature schools, it suits the demographic of student that we have in the public education system.
Thank you. My last question for you, what will be your top priority going forward if you're elected?
I'm an educator by trade. It's what I love to do. I knew I was going to be an educator before I went to college, and when I came back, I didn't have one day where I didn't want to be an educator. So education is my top priority. My goal would be to assist the minister wherever he sees fit if I was elected, because I believe that's where my passion is. So that's where my aim would be, is to help the minister wherever he sees fit.
Thank you. And my last question is for the Premier. Now, I know you said many times in the past that you would not take Bermuda to an election for independence in your first term. And I know we've got the COVID pandemic and the economic recovery coming up here if you're elected for the second term. Would that be on the table at some point if we get past the economic recovery?
We'll be rolling out our election manifesto closer towards election. Persons can judge from what is inside of there what our plans will be. I'm not going to allude to anything, but here's what I can say. I can say that our job as political parties is to put forward plans to the people and to execute the plans which we laid out. Any cabinet minister will tell you that I focus on the cabinet table at a Tuesday is going over our platform, executing our plan. And the one thing that I can say is that the things that this country can know and rely on is if the Progressive Liberal Party puts something in their election manifesto, that is what they can hold the party to. So over the last, since we were elected, as we're in our 4th year of government, we have accomplished 65% of the things which we had laid out to do and what we promised. And we're going to continue to build on that. We'll roll out a new election manifesto. People can have those conversations and discussions at that time.
Thank you.
With that, members of the media, thank you very much for your time and attention. And congratulations to the season. Congratulations. Thank you.